Welcome, parents. I'd like to welcome you to the Electrical Technologies program here at Cheney Technical High School, and hopefully I can provide some information so you and your student can make their career choice here at Cheney Tech. I'd like to introduce myself. I am Peter Jennings, the electrical department head, and my esteemed partner, Mr. Dennis Hammond. Both of us have been working together here at Cheney Tech for almost 10 years, and together we ensure that your student will be successful. Part of our mission statement here in the electrical program is we want to challenge each student to their fullest potential, but in addition to that, we also teach the skills necessary for lifelong success, no matter what route or avenue they take in life. A little about us in electrical is a highly skilled and regulated trade. It is illegal to perform electrical work in the state of Connecticut without an electrical license. There is no such thing as an unlicensed electrician. Because of this, our goal is to ensure that each student can successfully pass their journeyman's exam after they graduate us at Cheney Tech. Part of the requirements in Connecticut are that students are required, or any apprentice electrician is required, to complete 720 hours of classroom instruction. Your student will earn those hours here at Cheney Tech. In addition to that, Connecticut also requires that they perform 8,000 hours of supervised apprenticeship. That's one-on-one supervision on the construction job site. They will earn credit for up to 1,500 hours here at Cheney Tech. After they've completed both of those, their additional 3 years after graduation from Cheney Tech, and they have their 720 hours, then they must successfully pass a state licensed exam. Again, because there is no such thing as an unlicensed electrician, we prepare them to the best of our and their ability to pass that exam. One of the things to remember is that our National Electrical Code Book, which we use, is written for a junior in college. A little bit about our program is we've also developed a handbook for used as a reference for both you and your student. They will each receive a copy of the handbook. We will go over it with them, and we will send it home for you to also review. Part of the purpose of the handbook is to inform the students and parents of the procedures here at Cheney Tech. We know it's not an easy decision for your student to decide that they want to enter the electrical program. This is a lifelong commitment. It's a lifelong goal. So we designed a handbook to enable students to become successful while they're here, and it's also used as a supplement to the Cheney Tech student handbook. Part of our goals in the electrical program are both safety and professionalism. And these are standards not only set by myself and Mr. Hammond, but they're also set by standards by OSHA, ANSI, the Connecticut Technical High School system, and also part of our CTEC committee, which is made up of both union and non-union electricians and contractors. If you have any questions, you can feel free to contact either myself or Mr. Hammond. I am more than willing to answer any emails that you have, even if it's not about the electrical program in specific, but about Cheney Tech in general. And you can just feel free to contact me, and I answer every email before I go home at the end of the day. So let's look at some of the objectives that we have designed here at Cheney Tech. And again, the course of study is designed to provide your student with a well-rounded education and teach you skills for life. We don't just teach electrical, we teach success here in the electrical program. So we teach students the skills necessary for employment. We inform students of career opportunities in the electrical field. We instill students with good work habits. We instruct students in professional behavior and ethics. We teach students electrical theory and fundamentals. We instruct the students on the requirements of the National Electrical Code. And again, we challenge your student to their fullest potential. Just a little bit about what's covered over their 4 years. And again, our whole program is designed to give them a well-rounded education. Most of our goal is to have students successfully enter the career as a licensed electrician. We've also had students continue on to higher education and become electrical engineers. However, that road is a very tenuous road. But we do our best to prepare the students to achieve that goal should they decide that's what they want. During the freshman year, they learn about safety and professionalism. They receive instruction on the basics of using hand tools and simple electrical circuits, and we introduce electrical theory, electron theory, where we do experiments just like you would do in science, and we also introduce them to blueprint reading. Sophomore year, students continue to hone the skills that they've learned during their freshman year. We continue our emphasis on safety and professionalism, during which time we also each student earns their OSHA 10 credential. They continue to expand their application of the electrical theory and blueprint reading. Many of your students will be approaching their 16th birthday towards the end of their sophomore year, so we also teach them employment skills and continually reinforce those skills necessary for employment throughout the year. We cover most of the aspects of residential wiring, and again, we focus on the National Electrical Code. Junior year is perhaps one of the most challenging years for your student. There, the students do a lot more independent work. They continue to apply their knowledge that they've learned through the freshman and sophomore year, but they do that in an independent basis. We also work on commercial and industrial work as introduced, and again, we introduce those portions of the National Electrical Code. In addition to that, we will also be taking the students out for production off-campus work. We've done a lot of different off-campus jobs. We've done office buildings. We've done solar installs. We've done generator installs, service changes. So we take them out and try and give them the best well-rounded background that we can. On the senior year, we hone their job readiness skills, and all seniors are expected to participate in the work-based learning program. Part of our reason or our expectation is that all students participate in work-based learning is that this way they can make an informed decision as to whether they want to continue their work in the electrical trade or they decide to go to college for more of an electrical-based career. One of the most important aspects of this, a trade school, is safety. The difference is they can't even go to a place like Stop and Shop for a job and use a razor knife. Here, we actually have them using power tools and equipment. So you have to understand that safety is paramount. One of the parts that we are also impacted by as electricians is our work in the electrical field is NFPA 70E, which is electrical safety. For that reason, all shop uniforms must be 100% cotton, and all shop uniforms are expected to be worn at all times. Our policy is that the student does not enter our door to come into class in the morning unless they are fully prepared and dressed for the day's work. That means work boots are on, they're laced up, they're tight, shirts are tucked in, and just like your employer has the expectation that you come to work dressed in the morning, we have the same expectation for our students. We do not allow any elastic waistband or cuffs just because of the type of work that we do. We do expect students to wear belts as we wear tool pouches during the day. We don't want to have any wardrobe malfunctions in the shop. Work boots must have leather uppers. Boots must be worn and tight, laced up at all times. And each student must have a lockable toolbox that's identified and engraved. We do require that students wear hard hats and safety glasses anytime anyone is working in the shop. Just go over some classroom procedures. I know this is a lot, but I like to let students and parents know the expectations that we have for their student who enters our program. We start every day with theory. It's the fundamentals of our industry. I can make the best splicer, the best conduit bender. However, if they are not prepared and do not have the ability to achieve their electrical license, they will never be an electrician. So with that, we start, both Mr. Hammond and I start every day with theory. We expect students come in with code books, notebooks, their textbooks, Chromebook, and everything else that we do. I hope you noticed that we did highlight homework will be given daily. Your student can expect to do homework every day. They're in the electrical program. We give tests and quizzes on a regular basis. We also expect the students will do reports and writing assignments. We have a district-wide assessment that we give twice a year. We have course outlines for each cycle that we expect the students to adhere to. The students are still required to turn in their work, even if they're absent. And I'd like you to pay attention to number 9 and 10 down here, please. Both Mr. Hammond and I are available before, after school, every day for extra help. Because as you look at number 10, the last one, any student who receives a grade of 70 or below will be required to stay for extra help. Part of the reason for that is if you take an assessment and you only score a 70 on it, you missed 30% of the material. Electrical is just like math, where everything is based on prior knowledge. Because of that, if you start your freshman year and you have a deficit and you're only getting 70% of the material, what I find is that compounds through the sophomore year, junior year, and by the end of junior year, students are really struggling. We like every student to be well within the 80s for their grade. Our grading policy is one that's set by the state steering committee. Homework notebooks are 10% of their grade. Mr. Hammond and I both grade exactly the same. Homework, we do not grade notebooks and we do not grade journals. We grade on homework. That is 10% of your grade. We also grade 20% on tests and quizzes, 20% on your semester exam, and half of your score is based on your project or production work. We expect our students to be ready and prepared each day. One of the things that primarily, and we get a lot of questions from parents, they always want to know what tools are required and when they're required. That is all lined out in the electrical handbook that I will give each student who chooses our shop. But the most important thing, again, is for them to come in prepared for theory each day. On here I listed the theory requirements, the tools that we need for theory. Again, work boots must be worn at all times. We expect the student to come in the morning, not with sneakers, flip-flops, slippers, or anything else. We expect them to wear their work boots in. Clear safety glasses, a yellow hard hat, 3-ring or a loose leaf notebook, pens, pencils, an architectural scale, calculator, their National Electrical Code book. Each student is required to have their own National Electrical Code book. They will use this code book for their license exam. One of the benefits of them having their own is they can go through, highlight, annotate, and make notes in their code book, which they are allowed to use during the exam. We also expect students to have 2 locks, one on their locker, one on their toolbox, highlighters, an architectural builder's template, and if you make note of number 12, an appropriate challenging fiction or nonfiction novel. Our National Electrical Code is written on a 15th grade level. We need students to increase their reading ability. With everything else, one of the ways to increase your reading ability, just like sports, is practice. Just a couple of notes before we finish up. Your student should expect an hour to 2 hours of homework a night. Just like mathematics, electrical theory is all based on prior knowledge. A lot of our students will participate in sports. They will go out and practice an hour or two after school for that sport. And realistically, we do not produce professional athletes, but we can produce professional electricians. So an hour or 2 hours of practice in their career is a wise choice. After this, you will be filling out your shop selection sheet. Please, for your shop selection sheet, put us down for your first or second choice. One of the problems that we find out is students, because we are a very challenging program and we have high expectations for all of our students, we find that students who put us down for a third, fourth, or fifth choice usually are not invested enough in the electrical program to see it to the end. So ideally, we have your student for our first or second choice. If your student is enrolled in the electrical program, I will contact you for a one-on-one meeting when we can go through the handbook in more in depth, and you can ask me any questions and I can continue to explain about our grading policy for homework and the rest of our assignments. Thank you, parents. Mr. Hammond and I are certain that together we can help your student become highly successful.